This world is spiritually blind. Satan has blinded the eyes of all the people in the flesh. I know we live in a body of sin and death, and there's the veil of the flesh. And even the apostles said that we see through a glass darkly. But if you're reborn, if you're born again of the Holy Spirit, you're regenerated, you have Christ in you, then you have some spiritual sight and understanding. People that look to the Bible, they're blinded by the spirits. They're looking to the Bible, and Satan fools them that way. Just like we're all spirits. Lucifer is a spirit. All his fallen angels are spirits. And all the people in the world, they're spirit, even though they're in a flesh body. And many people have died. They estimate there's been about 100 billion people that have lived before and now dead. And then there's about 8 billion of us alive today in the body. Well, a lot of these spirits are earthbound when they leave. The shadow spirits get them, or they go home, or they hang around their graves. They don't know until they die. And even after they die, some of them say, like, am I dead? Or I'm dead. I'm really dead, because Satan blinded them spiritually. He blinded them with the Bible. He blinded them with the world. He blinded them with the flesh. They go by what they see instead of by what they feel in the Holy Spirit. We have to feel after God. And have you ever been around people and you just didn't feel right about it, but they seemed real nice and good on the outside, and you think you'd feel bad about yourself for not liking them or for feeling bad around them, but there's something wrong with them. Just like when I was a child, we lived down the street from this man that owned a dairy, and he was my best friend's grandpa. He came over to our house and was talking to my mom one day, and he said, "Can I get a hug?" I wouldn't. I backed up towards my mom. My mom said, "Go ahead and give him a hug." And, my head was about above his waist. I just didn't like the way he felt. It was something wrong with the man. Well, later I found out, much later, that he had molested his own grandchildren. And so it didn't feel right. He was a pedophile. And, you go before a priest, and he might have a white robe on or a black robe on, and all this holy garb and his Bible and his crosses, and you'll feel something wrong with him. And he's done all kinds of terrible things. Well, people are spiritually blind, and Satan wants to keep us blind. The people that sell us things and our governments, they keep us blind. They keep us ignorant so they can control us, so they can use us, so they can make money off of us. We're like cattle that are branded, and Lucifer keeps us spiritually blind so he can control us. I know most of you heard this saying. They say that the best trick the devil ever played on us is to make us believe he wasn't real. But he's in everyone just about that you're around. At least if he's not in them, he's controlling them, and they don't know it. How about when you're out, like at work, or you're at the grocery store, and all of a sudden you see this look in somebody's eyes, or you can feel it. You don't understand what it is, but it's a spirit. And people are spiritually blind. They don't know they're being controlled by the devil. The devil uses natural things to control you. He uses the Bible. He uses temptation. He's going to give you a good life in the flesh, and a good job, or a good husband, a good wife. And how many people, when their kids do some kind of horrible atrocity when they get in high school, "Oh, I can't believe that my kid would do something like that." Well, that's because everybody's spiritually blind today. Even the ones that study and that live devout lives, they're spiritually blind because they're in their head and they're not in the Spirit, in the Holy Spirit. Now, some people do get in the Spirit, but they're not in the Holy Spirit, most of them. If you do try to get in the Spirit, you're seeking God with a true, sincere heart. Satan will try to scare you out of the Spirit. He'll send sleep paralysis and bad dreams and demons and all kinds of things to try to scare you out of the Spirit. Because not only is Satan in the Spirit, but Jesus is in the Spirit. And that's the only way you're going to find God. We no longer know him after the flesh like the apostles knew him after the flesh. He came in the flesh. He was a real person in a real body, and he lived, and then he died, and then he was resurrected alive. But now we don't know him after his flesh, even though he still has a flesh body. When it ascended into heaven, I don't know where it's at, or if he gets in it anymore or not. I don't know. But we don't know him after the flesh. We know him after the Spirit, if indeed we know him. You can't know him from history. You can know about him from history, but you can't know him. So this world is spiritually blind. Try, you Holy Spirit children that love God, try to see spiritually, and don't listen to what people are saying. Don't listen. Feel after in your heart, and you'll know by the Spirit that God put in you. The Holy Spirit in you knows, and he will show you. Even if you don't understand it, you'll know. Like Harlan used to say, I knew when I was around certain people to stay away from him. I didn't want to be around him anymore. He said he was in the car with somebody that was driving one time, and he just didn't feel right in there. And he told the person, pull over. And that person said, why? What's wrong? And he pulled over, and Harlan got out, and he wouldn't ride with him. So you got to go. If you have the Holy Spirit, you got to go by the way the Spirit leads you and guides you. If you go by your mind, what your natural mind, what you see with your natural eyes, then Satan is going to drag you down. How many Bible worshipers tell me, well, how do you know? How do you test the spirits? How do you test the spirits? And how do you know if it's Jesus or if it's the devil? You can't test the spirits by the scriptures, because Satan will transform himself into an image of Jesus or an angel of light, and he'll look just like you expect Jesus to look. You have to go by the way it feels, by the Holy Spirit. The Spirit in you knows. The Holy Spirit in you knows. And you will know by the Spirit if it's Jesus or if it's the devil. And that's the only way you can test the Spirit, is by the Holy Spirit. If you're testing the Spirit by the Bible, there's 45,000 different denominations by the Bible. And how are you going to know what is right and what is wrong from the Bible? You can't know it from the Bible. If you're trying to test the spirits by the Bible, then you're already deceived. So they're spiritually blind. Religion has blinded them, and Satan has blinded them. So you have to go by Christ in you. That's how you see. Those are your spiritual eyes, not your head, not the way people present themselves to be. You know them by the Spirit. And that's how we know if somebody's of Christ or not. And you can also hear it in their conversation. But a lot of times they'll say things that seem right and might even be right, but the Spirit's wrong. Some people even believe the truth and know the truth, but there's something wrong with their spirit. There's something dark about them. And so don't be spiritually blind. Ask Jesus to open your eyes enough that you can get through this world, or at least to look to him to lead you and guide you through this dark world. I don't know if I want to see all the spirits around me, because this world is so full of them. It's already bad enough. But I just want to be spiritually sensitive so that I can be delivered. And Jesus has always delivered Harlan and I, and now me, that I'm here finishing up my course. He's delivering me through all the messes that the devil tries to get me in. And the Lord has delivered me. So I thank him for that. I don't want to be spiritually blind. I want to have my eyes wide open in the Spirit. And I want to go home to see my Lord and my King and my Father. And of course, I want to see Harlan, and I'll see him too. Of course, I see him now in the Spirit often. Jesus has appeared to me. Harlan has appeared to me. I feel their presence. But I don't want this veil of flesh between me and them. I want to go over there where there's nothing between me and them. I want to become fully absorbed in the Holy Spirit. And I never, ever, ever want to come back to this world again.
Well, I was bound to Satan, full of lust and hate. Jesus came and filled my heart with love. I came from the bottom, peace and love I got 'em. Spirit came up on me like a dove. I'm moving on up with my Jesus. I had to learn to walk till I could fly. I'm moving on up with my Jesus till I reach my home in the sky. Now if you're in the darkness, the devil, he's your fortress. Lift up to Jesus Christ, good.